to the intricacies of a man. Like man is made up of organs, tissues, cells, and these cells are governed by genes. And yes, let others join. Man is made up of cells. A cell is the basic unit of man. So if you want to treat the man as a whole, you have to always take care of the cell, in other words. So without taking care of the cell, you cannot take care of man as such. So the totality, all those individualizations, etc. Yes, everything has to be, the basic unit is the cell. So Vijaykar sir is taking us towards the cell, towards the nucleus, towards the genes. And where are our medicines acting upon? Our medicines are acting upon the genes. So are we real genetic engineers? Can we really change the upper hand, lower hand of the chromosomes? Is it possible? We need not do the genetic engineering as such. So what should we do? We just have to prescribe the genetic constitutional simillimum, but then our medicines will go and act upon the genes, upon the nucleotides, upon those proteins like the adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytokine, and it will make such alterations so that the human being, the person as a whole, will be a changed person altogether. Yes. So this person is altogether a new person as such after taking that one single dose. You would have seen this in your clinic daily, like the mother coming up and saying that after giving that one dose, one powder dose, one magical powder dose, the life of my child is totally changed, all into a better version. All those negativities of the child is gone, all the restlessness is gone, all the attention deficits are gone. Now my child is much more immune. Physically, he is having much more stamina, and he is mentally, his powers are much more better. He is able to concentrate better. He stands first in the class, and his physical immunity as well is very good. No, after that single powder dose, what is that magical powder dose, ma'am? People used to come and ask, no, and we have seen from the syphilitic thing, when you have given a single dose of the stimulimum, what happens? It comes into the psychosis, the entire personality changes happens. So even for old age, it happens. The person, he looks as if 10 years younger, he gains little weight and he becomes little roundish. And after that, if nature allows, he can even go back to the soric. I have seen cases like that. We have all seen cases like that. From the syphilis, it comes to the psychosis, it comes to the sora. What we say, like a cell is controlled by the nucleus, and the nucleus has got the genes. The structure of the man, the genetic structure of the man is controlled by the genes, we say. And is it possible to change the structure of the man? Yes, we see that in our genetic cases, genetic mutation cases, where the child's facies will be abnormal. The child looks like something. And after giving the right potency, right medicine, after giving the right simillimum, we have seen where Vijayka sir has brought such children on the stage. He has taken the case on stage and given the medicine. What had happened after 3 months, after in the first follow-up, what do we see? The child's faces are all changed into a better version. Everywhere, no, the webbed neck or the chest will be broad, and everything is coming back to normal, which means what? Structurally, also the changes can be brought about by giving that one dose of homeopathic medicine. So, where are these medicines going and acting? The medicines are acting upon the genes. And we continue the reading. We continue the reading here. We talked about the defenses in our last class. Disease manifestations are basically defense mechanism at work. What are diseases then? What are diseases? Diseases are nothing but the defense mechanism. How is your defense mechanism that is different from another person? Yes. So this definition, I welcome you all for this page. That is page number 57. That is chapter 4. So this is the heading of the chapter. Disease manifestations are basically defense mechanism at work. We go in detail about this. This is a very small chapter. We finish this off and then we finish the next chapter as well today. So this definition of disease manifestations or symptoms should be understood in its proper context. We should know what disease is. Presence of one or too many policemen in your neighborhood is a sufficient indication for you to raise an eyebrow and inquire as to what is wrong in the neighborhood. Yes, when policemen are there, we will see, yeah, what is happening there? There has to be something wrong, a theft committed, a threat to somebody's life, a dacoity, a murder, a fire, a calamity, etc. What is happening there? Why are these policemen standing there? Depending upon the calamity will be the reaction. A mere crowd of people looking on may indicate a none too serious internal conflict or quarrel, which may not attain malignant proportions. People are simply standing and looking, which means, oh, nothing more is there, nothing severe is there. The crowd here is merely inquisitive, like what is happening, like husband and wife is shouting a lot. Okay, people are just standing and watching. So it is not a big problem. Presence of one policeman may indicate some small warrant issued by a traffic police or court to bring to the book the erring driver, etc. The presence of many policemen with a wireless van can give us a hint that there is something seriously wrong, as a murder or a dacoity. Somebody is murdered or some great theft of the bank or something has happened. Yeah, all said and done, the presence of legal fighting machinery in the form of the police is an indication that peace has been disturbed in the vicinity. Something, no, like everything was going on in peace, and something wrong has happened, something fishy has happened. With the presence of policemen, we come to know that, no. So in our blood values, yes, when you some fever or something will be produced, and then okay, I'm not able to go to the school today, I'm not able to go to the office today. So look into the blood values, and the blood values will be changed according to the intensity, according to the proportion. Sometimes only the neutrophils will be changed. If it is a chronic thing, then the lymphocytes will be changed. If it is dengue kind of thing where there is destruction, the platelets will be lesser. So according to the number of policemen, the things vary. According to the blood value, the things vary. The tranquility or the normalcy in the area has been disturbed, warranting a defensive mechanism, which is now attracting our attention to the area and situation. Somewhat on the same lines, the symptoms produced by the body are as a response to external invasive or irritating forces or agents. According to the blow, the disease is manifested. So these comprise of disease manifestation. The symptoms of pain, inflammation, swelling, redness, that is scalar, dollar, tumor, rubor, etc., or stiffness, indiscretion, growth, and destruction of tissues are nothing but the result of the body's defensive mechanism at work. When you get an inflammation, when you get pain, when you get redness, when you get itching on the skin, or when you get a growth, or when there is some destruction in the body, you will be alerted. No, something is going on in my body. Something is going on in my body. That is the disease. So it is only the defense mechanism, and it changes from person to person. So to survive, the genetically governed defense system of a cell, as also of the organism as a whole, tries to manipulate the internal and external environment of the cell so that an invasive agent is kept at bay. Whenever there is an invasive agent, like a bacteria or fungus or anything, our genetic apparatus will adjust to the core, to the maximum. And when it is not able to adjust, it will produce a symptom. It will be changed to an inflammation or to an induration or whatever. Yeah. The changes which occur in the cells and tissues in order to defend or repair the damage may essentially form the so-called pathology of that disease. So what is the damage happening here? Is it inflammation? Is it thickening? Is it induration? Is it blackening? Yeah. Is it destruction? All these things according to that forms the pathology of that disease. On a superficial level, it might appear to be a purely materialistic approach to understand the pathologic basis of a disease in every different disease. See, here Vijayakar sir is saying that we homeopaths are not bothered about the diagnosis. We homeopaths only want to know the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Symptoms. We are behind the symptoms only, hunting for symptoms and forming a totality and giving the medicine. And for the follow-up also, we refuse to see the blood report. No, all the investigations has to be done thoroughly. And what are the changes happening in the cells should be understood thoroughly for us to understand what is the defense the patient is in. What are the symptoms thrown by the patient? That will be exactly proportional, exactly similar to the changes happening in the cells. If you treat the cell, you are treating the man. Whereas we homeopaths will know, we don't want the cell, we want the man only. No, that's what ironically he is saying here. To study the changes occurring at a cellular or tissue level seems to have no depth as compared to the depth of understanding the man as a whole. Hence, study of the pathological basis of a disease is a far cry from holistic approach of a classical homeopath. What is he saying? A classical homeopath is always interested in the man, his dislikes, likes, his aversions, his thirst, his disposition, only. What about the report? No, I'm not interested in the report. I cannot read the MRI. No, it should not be. It should not be. We have to change according to the situations, now according to the development. Yeah. So we have to order for all these investigations rather and find out what are the changes happening at the cellular level. That is very important as a classical homeopath. The skeptics may argue that this is particularization, looking into the cell, looking into the paper and treating. No, this is particularization and this is not generalization. The skeptics may argue. What has happened at a cellular or tissue level is a particular, and why should we give importance to it? The answer is, what changes which have occurred at a particular level of tissue or cell is a response, not only of that individual cell or tissue only, but a response governed by the genes of that man as a whole. Yeah. So the cellular changes are nothing but the man as a whole. It is his genome which prompts every individual cell, whether in response to an invasion of bacteria or fungus or virus, the cell should inflame, indurate, or destroy itself for the well-being of the person or individual concerned as a whole. The response may or may not change at different times in life, depending again on the genetic makeup of that individual. Certain persons, when you are given some stimulus, certain persons will always show inflammation. Certain persons, immediately they will jump into induration. Certain persons immediately will go for the destruction. Even for a small child, we have read in our book that theory of suppressions, we have already dealt with that. The children will be usually 90% of the children will be of what miasm? Of what miasm? 90% of the children will be psoric miasm. So when they get a cold, how the cold will be? There will be a lot of itching, irritations, and there can be redness of the nostrils, and there can be thin, watery discharge, and there can be some nose block, etc. And sometimes some post-nasal discharge will be there, drip will be there, and cough will be there. Finished. And the cough will not be aggravated at night and all. It will be in the day and night and all that, but the night aggravation typical will not be there in the psoric thing. If the night aggravation is very typical, then what miasm is it? Night aggravation more means it will be syphilitic miasm, no? But for a child, we generally don't expect a syphilitic thing to come. If it is a syphilitic predominant child, what are the symptoms expected there? Immediately it will be bloody discharge, no? Whenever the discharge comes, no, when the child blows little hard, it will be covered with blood, and the thickness will be more, it will be greenish discharge, and the snuffles, the nose block will be tremendous. The child is not able to sleep, and there will be very severe bad bouts of cough in the nights. The child is not sleeping and the parents are not able to sleep. Yes, Archana, bleeding will be there, no? So why did I tell this? So it is all according to the genes or the genetic makeup of the individual. So this genetic makeup can be changed with our medicine. So when we work out and we give a genetic constitutional simillimum, thereafter also the child can catch cold. But then from the syphilitic, it goes into the psychotic miasm, or directly it can come into the psoric miasm. A child, what is on the cell? Yes, dear. What is on the cell is applicable to man as a whole. Yes. So, can we change the miasm? Yes, we can change the miasm. What does that mean? The defense will be a better defense, no? Not the destructive defense always. So if the child is in the destructive frame, a cold will be destructive. It can cause caries. It can cause caries of the teeth anyway. It can cause caries of all these, the nasal septum, and then it can even go to the brain, no? If it is a high syphilitic thing, or the child is having a loose motion, what it will be? It will be dysentery attacks only with lot of mucus and blood in it, whereas it is not expected for a normal psoric child. So these defenses are changeable by giving a genetic constitutional simillimum, and these defenses or these symptoms are produced by the genetic makeup of that individual. So by looking into the changes in the cells, we will always get the totality of the man as a whole. We thereby conclude that whatever changes we see at the pathological level during assessment of a disease are the changes brought about to counter an injurious stimulus, that is the defense. All changes are governed by genetic makeup of the individual. The changes differ according to the state of the organism, vis-a-vis the defense of the organism against the perseverance of the stimulus, and that too is governed by the genetic apparatus. So everything here is controlled by the genetic apparatus, and our medicine goes and acts upon the genetic apparatus. It simply corrects the alignment of the genes, and the gene is able to have a better adaptation to the same hostile stimulus, whatever the situation be. In that same bad environmental condition, the patient will be able to have better defenses. Still, he will not be syphilitic anymore after taking the best medicine, which means the genetic apparatus can be adjusted, can be modified. This means a bacterial infection or attack on a cell or tissue will generate a nominal inflammatory reaction initially to get rid of it, but failing which will change its mode of defense to indurative or ulcerative if the primary defense fails. So the defenses can be classified into three, right? First step will be the inflammation. When that defense fails, our body will take up the next action, that is the induration or the ulceration. Thus, the intelligence of a cell in its defense cannot be undermined as it changes gears or modes of defense as and when needed, as and when the need arises, thanks to the genetic apparatus. So genetic apparatus is fitted with all the first degree defense, the second degree defense, and the third degree defense. When we are thrown to a stimulus, always the first degree defense will be used up initially. When that is not sufficient, the genetic apparatus uses the higher intelligence and uses the second defense and then the third defense. All the above changes are clubbed under the same pathogenesis, under the name pathogenesis. So what is this pathogenesis? All the pathogenesis are nothing but the defense mechanisms of the body, and all these things are the changes upon the genetic apparatus. Of course, the genetic apparatus controls the entire cell, the entire gene, and how this particular body will produce the symptoms is governed by the genetic apparatus. So this is exactly where our medicine should act. When the genetic apparatus knows that the third defense is not necessary always, it will switch over to the second or to a better version, the best version, that is the soric defense. And that is what we all need, no? If there is a soric defense, then life will go on and on and on with very minimal deviations in our body, right? We go to the chapter 5. Till now, any questions? Chapter 5 is also just 2 pages only. We shall finish that one also. Till now, any questions? Any doubts up till now? We go to the next thing then. That is chapter 5. In the material body, the cell defense. Yeah. Now we are going little bit more in more detail into the cell. To defend comes from the basic French word that is defender, D plus fender. D means away from, fender means to strike. In short, it verbally means to strike away from. The dictionary meaning of to defend means guard from. You all know that. Defend means what? Guarding or protecting from harm or danger. So defense is an act or power of defending or guarding. So we all need a proper defense, right? A living being or an organism, right from single cell amoeba to multicellular animals and humans, have been constantly engrossed for years, defending itself against hostile environment. Yes, life on this earth wants to go on. Every living organism has a basic love for life. It tries to overcome the difficulties that come its way and tries to extend its period of existence in this material world. We all have hostile environment daily. It uses all the powers that it has been endowed with to prolong its existence. The living organism may use its pseudopodia or limbs or tail or hands and feet or the cilia or even the chemical and biochemical activities in the body depending upon what is available for defense. You know the defense of sepia, right? Yeah. What it will do? What will sepia do? It will eject the ink, yeah, or it will run backwards, huh? Or it will camouflage, or it will act like two-limbed, etc. No, actually it is four-limbed or eight-limbed, and then it will hold on the two limbs, etc. It will hide. Yes. And how the tortoise will do? It will hide its neck. Yes. What will we do? We will run. We will use our limbs, or we will attack. Yeah. Every person, every living organism has got its own defense. Yeah. As a rule, anything in this world never has a single phase or single dimensional existence. If there is a day, there has to be a night. If there is a color which is black, there has to be white. If there is good, there has to be evil. Two opposites have to coexist if this world has to go on. Thus, if there are factors to prolong life, there are also factors which try to end our life. Yes? The factors that are hostile to others' life try to attack a living being in order that they themselves survive. Why is the lion attacking us? If we are okay, if we don't intimidate the lion can also be friendly with us, right? Is it possible a lion being friendly? How many of you have seen that video? Huh? People moving along with along with animals, along with elephants, elephant playing all around. Huh? So why does that happen? Elephant has got enough to eat, or the lion has got enough to eat. It does not have to attack this man to eat. Huh? Then the lion or whatever that animal is not hostile to us. It knows that we are not intimidating them. We are not going to attack them. Then it will not open its attacking defense towards us. The factors that are hostile to others' life try to attack a living being in order that they themselves survive. The lion is protecting himself by attacking us. The attacked organism uses all the means at his disposal to combat the hostile forces. There is thus a constant combat going on between the offensive and the defensive forces, and the result is either survival or death. The cell is attacked not only by animate but also by inanimate things. Symptoms are produced due to this combat. Symptoms produced due to this combat are what are identified as diseases. Constantly the combat is going on, and the symptoms produced, no, like constantly you are under some music, some disturbing noise. At the end of the day, what you will get? You will get a headache, right? You are trying to adjust, you are trying to adjust, you are trying to adjust. And finally, at the end of the day, you get some symptom, and that is the disease. If defense of a cell is at the base of disease pathology, we need to understand what can injure a cell. We say that, okay, whatever pathology is shown up, it is all because of the cell getting injured. Now we want to know what are all the things which can injure a cell. What means a cell uses to defend, and therefore what can cause the disease. Yeah. How is the cell attacked? What are all injurious to the cell, and what are all the defenses produced by the cell? So, when normal cell is under stress, it adapts. The normal cell is confined to a narrow range of functional and structural changes due to its genetic programming. The genes regulate the cell metabolism, differentiation, and specialization, and decides its reaction to stimulus or stress. The cell is nevertheless able to handle the normal physiological demand, the so-called normal homeostasis. What is all this? What is all this? What is all this? Soumya, can you go on mute? Sorry, is it possible to put her on mute?
சொல்லல நான் இல்லாம வேற யாரோ வந்தப்ப சொன்னாங்களோ ஒருத்த ஓனர் இருக்கும்போது என்கிட்ட சொல்லுங்க.
Soumya?
Oh, sorry.
No problem, dear. No problem. Yeah. So what were we saying about? A normal cell has got the normal defenses. It will be only narrowly affected by the changes in the physiology and all. If we are normal, if we are robust, what happens with the slightest a cough given by our patient, or by the falls? What do you mean by falls? By the rain, when you are exposed to the rain, nothing is going to happen because your defenses are strong only. Yeah, the basic defense is there. But when you're already disturbed, and you are exposed to the sunlight, or you are exposed to some food you have taken from the hotel, immediately starts the reaction. When you're all happy, everything is going on, all these small stimuluses will not create any disease in you. The cell is nevertheless able to handle the normal physiological demand, the so-called normal homeostasis. Somewhat more physiological stress or some pathological stimuli may bring about a number of physiological or morphological adaptations during which new altered state of homeostasis is achieved. Have you heard this word anywhere? New altered state. We homeopaths are always behind this only, no? How are his symptoms altered? What is his altered state of life now? Huh? We are all interested in that. A person he was, yeah, a very hot patient. And now, after contracting a fever, suddenly he is shivering with chilliness. He is asking us to switch off the fan, switch off the AC, etc. And he is shivering with chilliness. So this is an altered state. Then the bystanders will say, no, he is very hot patient. Always he wants all these things on. Yeah, but now he is feeling very chilly. And he is using two blankets. And under the blankets, he is shivering. He is chilly, very chilly. And he is a very calm person, very jovial person. He is always laughing and cracking jokes. And now he is very angry. We can't even talk to him. When we talk to him, he is scolding us. Now, what is the remedy? Very chilly. Jai Shri ma'am. Jai Shri, Jai Shri. Can you just go on mute? Jai Shri. So, Jai Shri. Can you go on mute, please? Arya, is it possible? Yeah, thank you, dear. Yeah. So this is a hot patient. Now the altered state is that he is very, very chilly after the fever. Yeah. And this was a very jovial person, very light person. Exactly, Brahmavidya. And now he is having avota. So this can be an axomika now. But then what is this? This is the altered state. This is the altered state. Yeah. So previously, then what can be his original state? That will be kind of sulfur or something, no? The chronic of Naxomica can be sulfur. Yeah. So this change is meant to increase the viability of the cell under increased demands. So the person was due to so much of increased demands, his defense has taken him to put him under rest. Come on, take rest for 2 days. You lie down there. You are not able to get up because you are overwhelmed with so many things. Now take rest for 2 days. After 2 days, or even before 2 days, now with Naxomica 1M, how many hours do you want to treat the patient out of the fever? No need of 2 hours and all. No, maximum 6 hours. The patient will be up, and even if the temperature may be there or temperature will be very light, and the patient's energy levels will be better, he will start eating immediately. He will start gaining his energy back to normal, and the Naxomica will go back to the original sulfur, and he will say, I don't want 2 days leave. Today afternoon itself, I'm coming there. Come on. All the overwhelming symptoms, everything is gone. I'm fresh now. Yeah. So all these things, this new altered state is only a defense. It is only to help us. It is only to mellow down, to slow down, and give us more energy after recovery. A coolie or a loader who is used to lifting heavy weight has his arms and forearm muscles gradually bulging. So this is a psychotic example that is given here in order to meet the increased demands on them. Yes, when we do the gym exercise regularly or when we take the dumbbells, what happens? Our biceps, triceps, etc. become developed. No, all those hypertrophy happens. So that is for doing the increased demands. So this is also a defense. This is needed, very much needed. This is not a disease. This is a defense. Increase in muscle mass is due to increase in the size of the individual muscle fibers. That is the myofibrils will take so much of girth, right? The workload is thus shared by a greater mass of cellular components, and each muscle fiber is spared of excess work and so escapes injury. The muscle as a whole, the myofibrils, every cell of the muscle will start bulging, and that is called as hypertrophy, and the entire muscle mass, the bulk of the muscle will increase in its girth so that it is capable of, or it has adapted to the new increased demand situation. This adaptive response is called hypertrophy. Here it is hypertrophy, and initially with the Naxom thing, we talked about the psoric, that one was the inflammatory defense. Conversely, what is the opposite of hypertrophy? Atrophy is its opposite, right? Conversely, atrophy is also an adaptive response where there is a decrease in size and function of the cells. If the adaptation crosses a limit, the cell undergoes cell injury. So far, it is not an injury. When it crosses the limit, there can be breakage. there can be breakage of the muscle fiber, or there can be breakage of the ligament. Then it is known as the cell injury. If the adaptation crosses a limit, the cell undergoes cell injury. When limits of adaptive response to stimulus are exceeded, cell injury occurs. So adaptation made by cells and tissues can be healthy or unhealthy. Always healthy adaptations are welcome, right? We are not going to stay in our soric state always. We are all thrown into more and more responsibilities and more demands, increased demands. For that, we cannot stay in our normal body weight or normal capacity. And by that time, I will be tired, or I can take only this much load. No, our life situation keeps on changing, and we will have to take more and more loads daily. For that, adaptation is healthy adaptations are always welcome. When cells or tissues adapt and homeostasis or equilibrium is reached with a changed state, it is still a healthy state. Yeah. The overgrown muscles of athletes and bodybuilders are cellular adaptation but not disease. And what happens to our pulse rate? For PT Usha, athlete, what is the pulse rate? With one contraction, and that will be a very efficient contraction of the heart, and blood is distributed everywhere. There, it need not push and pump again and again. The pulse rate for us is 72, whereas it is 40 for PT Usha. It is very less. Yes, Shubhangi. Yeah. So that much, is this a disease? And okay, we say that, okay, the rhythm is normal, but then the heart rate is very low. What is that known as? Sinus bradycardia. It is normal. It is not an abnormality. Yeah. So that is still a healthy state. The overgrown muscles of athletes and bodybuilders are cellular adaptations. They are not diseases. A child born with a septal defect in the heart may develop a load on the left ventricle and may undergo left ventricular hypertrophy. Now, is this a disease? The child is born with the congenital malformation of a septal defect, not the Fallet's tetralogy and all. It is pathological, but here it is only a mild septal defect, and the heart is overcome that. No, like the left ventricle has taken over, so it undergoes little bit of hypertrophy, and it is still able to cope up. The child is able to run, climb a mountain, everything he is able to do, just like us. So what is this now? It is a compensatory hypertrophy. No, it is only an adaptation. It is not a disease. So which may allow him to survive and reach normal homeostasis as age goes by. The child grows up with normal strength, normal stamina, functions, and lives a normal life even when he grows older. So this is a normal adaptation. This is a perfectly compensated adaptation, which is not necessarily termed disease and therefore needs no correction. For this, no correction is needed. In fact, any correction in the pathology may precipitate disequilibrium and decompensation, which could prove fatal. So now, okay, as part of homeopathy, we want to correct him fully. Okay, we want to, that left ventricle has to be treated. No, it is only a compensation. His body is adapted to that, very well adapted to that, very well coped up through all these years. And now we don't want to change that left ventricular hypertrophy because that is normal for that man now. If in case of a constant stimulus, the adaptations are not sufficient to re-establish homeostasis, cell injury occurs. The cell is constantly trying to maintain the homeostasis, constantly trying to maintain the homeostasis. If the cell is not able to do that, the cell fails or it undergoes some injury. The cell injury can be reversible or irreversible. Most of the times it is reversible. Now let us look into what are all the things which can injure a cell. So this is all from the pathology textbook, okay? We compare this with what our guru Samuel Hahnemann has taught us in his aphorisms. What can injure a cell? Physical agents like mechanical trauma, extremes of temperature, example burns or deep cold, sudden atmospheric changes, electric shocks, radiations, magnetisms, cosmic radiations, etc. All these physical agents can injure a cell. Oxygen deprivation, that is hypoxia, that is decreased oxygen to cell. Yes, we see that. Where do we see that regularly? In COVID, we have seen that. And then if it is a prolonged labor in the birth canal, once the child is born, it will be having hypoxia, hypoxic injury of the brain, And then comes the gliosis or something, or then comes the ADHD or whatever, the autism or the things, no? The hypoxia is very important for us. Then ischemia, that is decreased blood supply to a cell, causing decreased nutrition to that cell. Yes. Again, oxygen supply is lesser, blood supply less means oxygen also lesser, nutrition is lesser, and that can cause to the global developmental delay, no? Then chemical agents and drugs. Glucose or salt in hypertonic concentration. More of glucose is what? Diabetes, hyperglycemia. More of salt, what is that? That is hypernatremia. That can also cause unwanted rise in the BP and all. Oxygen in high concentration, that is hyperventilation, too much of oxygen, that is also can cause cell injury. Then poisons like cyanide or arsenics, mercury salts, yes, poisons, they can cause cell injury. Then air pollutants, insecticides, herbicides, carbon monoxide, asbestos, yes, all these things can cause cell injury. Then social stimuli, what are they? Alcohols and narcotics, yes, they can also cause cell injuries. Then ever increasing therapeutic drugs, too much of medicines. What is the rubric for that? In generalities, we have a rubric, no? Medicines, allopathic, overuse of, or medicines, allopathic, abuse of, or medicines, allopathic, oversensitive to. These are the rubrics for that, no? Then the next thing is infectious agents like bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses. All these things, of course, can injure a cell. Immunologic reactions and self-antigens. What are these self-antigens called? In other words, called autoimmune. Yes, autoimmune. Then genetic derangements. Yes, when the child is formed, when the zygote is formed, at that time itself there can be malformation. That is the genetic derangements. So at that time itself, the Fallot's tetralogy and all is decided. No, the heart is one of the first organs to be formed. In the first few weeks itself, it forms in the first 4 weeks. So what happens there? Okay, all these things are mal-rotated, and the oxygenated blood combines with the deoxygenated blood and all that. So that is also a from the formation itself, that is from the genetic formation itself, genetic derangements. Then the other one is nutritional imbalance. So nutritional imbalance, one of the most famous thing now is vitamin D deficiency. Almost everyone has it, nutritional imbalance or anemia. Huh? Yes. Then benumbing agents. What are these benumbing agents? Yes, anesthetics, no? Like you give a mandibular block. Ah, yes, Monica. You give a mandibular block there to extract a molar tooth. And what happens? Thereafter, you go into paralysis, you go into Bell's palsy, or sometimes the benumbing sensation is there on, and the patient feels all uncomfortable, never been well after the anesthesia. Then, camphora combinations like Vicks, ah, Amritanjan, Axoil, etc. Yes, all those things are also benumbing agents, right? Then anything which contains menthol also, no? Something which will apply for as a painkiller, we will apply on our body, no? All those things. Any foreign proteins, what are they? These foreign proteins are vaccines. Yes, Shubhangi, you said it, vaccines. And do we get injured after vaccine?
Yes.
The best example is post-COVID vaccines, yes. So these are all given by the pathology textbook. Yes, it is taken from that. And now we compare that with what our master said in Organon Aphorism 73 extract. As regards acute diseases, they are either of such a kind as attack human beings individually, the exciting cause being injurious influences to which they were particularly exposed. What are they? Excess in food or an insufficient supply of it. We talked about the nutritional imbalance, right? If the food is in excess or if the food is in lesser, in insufficient, it is an imbalance. So Hahnemann talked about that. Then severe physical impressions like chills, overheatings. We talked about that, right? Extremes of chilliness, extremes of overheating, dissipation. What is that? Dissipation means it is overindulgence. Overindulgence, bad morals, overindulgence. Too much of alcohol or too much of sexual, all these things are dissipations. Then strains, too much of strains, etc. Or physical irritations, the physical agents, mental emotions, and the like. Here, the mental emotions are only coming up as an extra. All the rest are covered. All the rest are just ditto, where Samuel Hahnemann has written this 200 years back. Yes, or exciting causes, physical agents, mental emotions, and the like are the exciting causes of such acute febrile affections. In reality, however, they are generally only a transient explosion of latent sora. So all these acute things has to be brought back within hours, no? After giving the right potency, within hours, the loose motion will be under control, or the fever will be under control, or the cough will be under control, etc. No, or the headache will be under control. It is only a transient explosion of latent sora, which spontaneously returns to its dormant state if the acute diseases were not of too violent a character and were soon quelled. The acute diseases, even if it is not treated, also it will come back to the normalcy, right? Very interestingly, Hahnemann has put down the cause of disease as injurious influences on an organism about 200 years back in the above paragraph. And the factors quoted are almost identical, except that he also gave importance to the mental emotions. Yeah. So there we are. So Samuel Hahnemann has given us entirely how the cell is injured. What are all the possible sequences? What are all the possible stimulus which can cause a cell, which can cause an injury to a cell? And from there, he is taking us to the next paragraph, its next chapter, etc. So we will wind it up here now. 15 minutes more left. So do we want to have any discussion, or is anybody presenting anything or any doubts? Anything open to discussion? Any doubts or any cases? In general neuropathy, in general neuropathy, yeah, that is peripheral neuropathy. Burning in feet or soles, what needs to be probed? Good question. Usually we get it as diabetic neuropathy. If the patient is not a diabetic, still he can get neuropathy, and that is known as peripheral neuropathy, where there will be burning. Sometimes it will be burning, sometimes it will be tingling sensation in the toes or in the palms, in the extremities. What needs to be probed? So which layer is this? This is the PNS, CNS and PNS, no, peripheral nervous system. So that is the sixth layer, or just a pain. Yeah, that is a sixth layer. Yeah. So when the sixth layer is affected, so this is actually the grounding. Where are you losing your grounding? Can we have a session for conflicts of different diseases? Yes, we can have, dear, because we have been doing this before. Before we started this reading, or before we did our SCPH, actually we have been having sessions like this. All the doubts has been cleared there. So fortunately or unfortunately, there has been no recordings of that. I think, is it Arya? There was no recordings of that. We were doing that in Google Meet only. So there we have been dealing about all those diseases, no? Like we have dealt with diabetes, we have dealt with hypothyroid, etc. All the lifestyle diseases which we daily come in, no? So now we are into reading Vijay Kasar's book. So let me complete that book by book. Automatically we will get all those things. Okay, dear Kyle. So just a minute. In anxiety, so we were answering about Sai Narendra's question, first of all. So that is in general, yeah. In that neuropathy, it is all about the feet and the soles. That is our grounding. Sai Narendra, have you observed this? When this goes to the next higher defense, that is when it goes into the syphilitic, what will the patient come and say? I am not able to keep my feet on the ground, or always I will have to wear a chappal, or even with the chappal, I am not able to stand on the ground. This is all about the grounding. Where have you lost control? This should be the question where you should probe. Then Yashasvi is asking something. In anxiety disorder, after giving a GCS, the patient comes up with panic attacks after one major triggering incident, like death of loved one, of course. Now, should we give a state remedy considering the ailments from? Yes. Or should we take this as acute exacerbation? No. This has to be taken as ailments from, because the patient has been improving, no? On a positive note, when the patient is improving and suddenly something very major triggering incident like death of a loved one, of course, anybody can go into a panic attack, right? So at that time, you have to just take the ailments from and give an acute remedy. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Kyle, it can be refreshed again. Yeah, we can do that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Maybe I need some time for that, Kyle, because I'm into many things now. We can always deal with such things. Hypothyroidism. We need that brushing up again and again. No, I wish all those things were recorded at that time, because every time we will have to. I don't know where I have kept my small notes. No, where I have included my own cases to explain it to you. So maybe I'll have to prepare it all afresh sometime later. Okay, now I'm into too many things, Kyle. After I get a break, I shall teach you all those things. Whatever known to me, I shall teach you. So now I think this is the best method of refreshing the things or having the revision by reading Vijay sir's book again and again. For this, no preparation is needed. We just have to read and understand. That's all. Some cases will come in and we will crack.
It is
Yeah.
very useful actually. These classes are.
Yeah. Who's speaking? Brahma Vidya?
No,
No.
ma'am.
Who's speaking? Kyle.
Kyle will- Yeah, yeah. I said these sessions are very helpful. I said
Thank you so much for the encouragement.
we should thank you, ma'am.
If you are not there, I'm not there, no? Okay, the what's there. If you have any case, any success case or anything is coming up to your mind, you can always share, no? Roughly, offhand, without any slides, etc. It need not be proper. Let us not try to be perfect, no? Kailviri, Arya, Brahmavidya, Nuha, Gokul, Kalburgi. Yeah, anybody? Or any case?
Ma'am, I have a small case. Can I share?
Please share it. Yes. Hi, Narendra.
I don't know exactly, but I will try to say. Ma'am,
Yeah,
Ma'am,
yeah.
it was a case of autoimmune grave disease.
Okay.
So
Hyperthyroid.
initially, yes, autoimmune grave disease. And so where the T3 is 126 and T4 is 5.6 and TSH is 0.045. It was too much less.
Mm.
So patient within 2 to 3 months, she lost almost 20 kg.
Mm.
So she's a highly spiritual candidate, and she was more into not into fancies, but she used to connect everyone is God, everything is God, and I am God.
Oh.
And she forcefully tries to see God in each and everyone, because her guru, he has told her that this is her last birth, and she's no more going to take form in any uterus in the further janmas. And this is the all pending things. She has to settle all the affairs in this janma. So she is very much sure that after leaving this body, she will merge into the ultimate love, universe, bliss. So that was kind of thing. And whatever the sadhana she is doing, she is absolutely fine. She's well and good. Um, all the Upanishads, Vedas, she had gone through all those things. And even I have little awareness regarding that, because I also passed from that thing. So I understood. But here, what has happened? She is forcefully trying. I just want to merge in God. I just want to merge in God. She is forcefully. She wanted to explore the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. She wanted to merge that Anandamaya. So this was a thought process. So I took all the case, ma'am. So much of history. But finally, I entered with one rubric, ma'am. That was disunion with herself, where Amrish sir, he has taught in during sir's birthday class. He has told that thing, disunion with herself. It was autoimmune values were 10.3 something, and after medicine, within 1 month, she put on 6 kg.
Wow.
So after that, I didn't repeat for almost 8 months. I didn't repeat. Now her autoimmune, I don't know, TRAB values were 2.9, ma'am. Actually, it should be 2.5, less than 2.5. Now it is 2.5, 2.9. So last month I again checked her values. Now again increased to 3.2. So I told what has happened, what went wrong. Till everything was fine. Suddenly, what has happened? So in the last, in the Kerala, they are doing some kind of Trump series. So in that, I heard that there should be no external application should be applied for the body. So she was using some kind of lotion and ointments. So I stopped that thing. I didn't repeat any dose, but her values came to again 2.9. Now at present, it came to 2.6, ma'am. Now I am waiting. It should come below less than 2.5. So now she put on almost 15 to 14 kgs. So her face has changed. Everything has changed. And she's having good appetite. Her muscle mass also came. Now she's well and good, ma'am.
Okay, so
Almost 8 months it took, ma'am. 8 to 9 months.
syphilis to psychosis.
Disunion with herself. Remedy, yes, ma'am. Remedy was RM self in the case, but I didn't go by that. Sir told those who are, she was having tight aggravation, sensitivity, and there were dreams of snakes and all. So, who is more spiritual in the class? They told Crotalus cascavilla, highly spiritual. So, I gave her Crotalus cascavilla 10 ml. 1 dose.
Mhm. You have given Crotalus cascavilla 10 ml 1 dose now, is it?
No, ma'am. Previously only.
You did
Now
not give
I
Coram.
didn't repeat. So I stopped her. No, I didn't give, ma'am. I didn't give. Afterwards, I came to know that those people who are into disunion with themselves, so they should be given Aurum self. There is a remedy, Aurum self, but I didn't give Aurum self. But I approached many doctors also. If this case doesn't work, what should be the remedy? They told Aurum self, but she recovered with Cascaville only. She recovered. Now her TSH it is increasing to 6 because TRAB has to come down, TSH has to rise. So it can.
It will come down to normal. It will come down to normal. You just have to wait. There is no hurry to change the medicine. Whatever medicine you have given, it has worked a lot because it has changed her from the greater miasm to a lesser miasm. From syphilis to psychosis, she has already reached. Now you just
Now
have to.
she is interested to go into all parties, functions, marriages. Before she was not used to go all attend functions and all. Now she is going.
So that is typical psychosis now. She wants to socialize and all that. Previously, she was rather isolated. So you had given her Crotalus cascavilla 10 ml, no? That was a for you. Okay. So, but then if this, did you take the rubric that, did you take that rubric
No,
like
ma'am.
and with himself? You have not taken that. Okay.
No, I have not.
So Archana, he had given Crotalus cascavilla only, looking into the religiousness. Too much of religiousness and too much of dreams of snakes, etc. And always talking about God. The most godly medicine is out of the Ophidia. That one is Crotalus cascavilla, right? So that's why Dr. Sai Narendra has given Crotalus cascavilla 10 ml, single dose. And with that, all these changes are brought about. All these changes are for the positive, right? From she was very lean and all initially. She has lost almost 20 kgs. Now, after Cascavella, she has gained weight, 6 kg weight and all in 1 month. So that it has acted very rightly upon that miasmatic situation. Upon that state, it has worked a lot from the changed state. Now it has brought her back. It is slowly bringing her back into her original state. From the syphilis, she has come to the psychosis. Similarly, the values are also getting better. So there will be a lot of dynamism now. It will go up and down, go up and down. You just have to go slow. And the fantastic result you have got with one remedy, that is Crotalus cascavilla. No need to change to the other remedy and spoil the case. Okay. So just wait, and only
Yes,
and
ma'am.
only if you know that no, this is going backwards. If she is losing weight again, or if the autoimmunity is going on, like the ATG and TPO values are going high, then only you have to think about changing the remedy. If the patient is all good, why the hell do we want to change the medicine? We don't want to change the medicine. We don't want to change it now. Okay, just wait until just wait. See, all these things will depend upon the patient's speed. Okay, we want speed, and immediately I want to cure. There is no hurry from our part at all. We just want to know, okay, the patient is all surviving good. All his values are also getting better. That is enough for us. Go slow, go little slow. There is no hurry to change into Aurum. Okay, Aurum is better medicine. No, let me finish it off soon. No, just go slow.
No, ma'am, she is improving. Initial values, it was 10.63 autoimmune trap values. So it was 10.63. At present, now it is 2.9.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
in the before 2 months, it was 3.94. Now it is 2.9. But normal value should be less than 2.5.
Yeah. So you have not repeated Crotalus casquela anymore, right? You have given it
No,
only once.
initially I wanted to repeat, but external application, some doctor he told to stop external applications. After that, it automatically came down.
Yeah, it automatically came down. See? So her vital force is strengthened now. Her vital force has got that intelligence. Crotalus cascavella is already acting upon her genes and producing the normal adaptations. So give her time to adapt. That's all. Keep off your hands. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Good rubric. And the selection of remedies also good. Let me ask you, is there only one remedy Aurum in this disunion with herself?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Acha, acha. Very good. So a remedy must be added, no? That's what Suresh Kalburgi is saying. Maybe Crotalus also, cascavella also, you can always add in that, no? Like disunion with oneself. Yes. Because whatever I am seeing, that is me only. That is me only. I am seeing Arya Devi, I am only Arya. I am seeing Saumya, I am only Saumya. Saumya is and I am are the same. That is kind of a disunion with oneself, no? Like we all should not have that Advaita thing. We all should have Dvaita only. And when we are having this Advaita, we are gone. That means it is dead only. When we see ourselves in others, according to the theory, anything is okay. But then really, if we are doing that, then we will go mad. It is the highest state set by all Vedanta. Yes. So Arya is Arya and I am. So there should be a gap always. So
But
it
in
is
the
all-
spiritual kind of thing, madam, in people,
Yeah.
but they has to cross all these layers one by one, as the mother nature has to permit to cross all these states one after one. But some people, after listening to too many of satsangs and all, they they go into that state. But it doesn't happen because all kind of vasanas and everything, purva janma, all these things are there. It has to clarify one after one after one. But people forcefully they wanted to. It will help to maximum extent, but we cannot experience that union with everything.
anything
They may
in
get
psychotic plane.
they may get some kind of excitement, happiness, but oneness state it don't come such easily. After giving medicine to her, I also understood, ma'am. I also learned something new
Learn
from her.
something. This is actually a learning session what you have given now, Sai Narendra, because the adjustment should happen in the psychotic plane only. Be positive, taking the thing, all these things, no, like adjusting yourself, doing yoga or exercises, and all these things should not go into the syphilitic level. So that is by reading all this Vedanta or all the personality development books, don't go into the syphilitic level. That's all. Okay, dear. I think time for us to wind up, right? Yeah. So thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We shall meet again next week.
Bye.